Welcome to the Broadcast Brothers. I'm Justin Faisongo. This is Joe Noholava. Joe, how you doing?
Going great.
Right
Good to
on,
see
bro.
you.
You too, man. You too. You want to introduce tonight's guest?
Yeah. So we're 1 week removed from last week's epic Hawaiki Nui Va'a. If you guys had a chance, hopefully you guys had a chance to watch the broadcast that we had last Friday. We had a really good time bringing on our friends and just sitting back. It was a really fun watch party, and one of the highlights of that race was watching Team Hawaii do their thing.
Yeah.
They had an epic top 10 finish. We were definitely rooting them on, and I guess so. With that being said, our next guest is from Team Hawaii, leading the charge. We're gonna bring in Ryland Hart here.
He did all 3 days here. Let me put him in the middle, Joe. Hold on. Okay, there we go.
Surrounded.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, Rylan, welcome. We've been toying around with this for a while with you, and it's kind of been hit and miss. I know you travel a lot, you're doing a lot of things, and we got families to schedule around and all that too, and we're finding a little bit of steam here going, coming off the broadcast of Hawaiki Nui, and we really want to.
We're
Catch
inspired,
the
Ryland.
momentum.
You inspired us, bro.
Yeah. They're like, if Ryan can go 3 days, Ryan can go 3 days, bro. We're going. We're gonna go.
Yeah. You guys have to. It's like the coolest, most amazing race ever, and there's always a moment during it where you're like, I don't think I can do this, and you make a way to do it, and so definitely you guys should go down and experience it. But no, I heard a lot of great things about your guys' cast. I went and flicked through it, listened to a little bit of it, and everybody was super stoked because nobody speaks French, so they're stoked to have your guys' input. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, just to give kudos too. I mean, Ocean Paddler had all 3 days. They did a really good job with it.
Yeah,
and not that we're apples and oranges with them, bro. Like we do different stuff, and
I don't know how much insight we're really putting in, as we're, just, sitting back and it was just armchairing the thing. So
yeah, it was awesome, and Bretta Kala and Uncle Walt, just helping out, and awesome, and but also shout out Ocean Paddler and Kalai and Micah. They styled us for the 3 days as well.
Well, they put a lot of work in for sure. We came in day 3 and did what we did. We let Uncle Walter and Danny and those guys carry the load for us.
Uncle Kevin.
Yeah, Uncle Kevin and Joe and I just have fun. We sit back, ask questions, and do what we're supposed to, which is enjoy it. So yeah, right on, man. Well, we were stoked to see you out there 3 days. The rumor was we heard you volunteered for all 3 days.
No. I mean, Joe's paddled me enough. I just go where I'm told. Every once in a while, I'll throw in where I think I should be, but I just go where I'm told. The plan going into the week was I was just going to do 1 and 3. Day 1 was going to be sort of a mixture of a little bit of more outrigger and Lani Kai guys. Day 2 was going to be more Lani Kai heavy, and day 3 was going to be more outrigger heavy. That was sort of the plan going in. But it was pretty. We only kind of got together for like the 2 weeks leading up to the race because everybody was so focused on Molokai that you cross the channel and everybody's like, we're going in 2 weeks, right? So we had a handful of practices where we all jumped in together. It was pretty apparent that the guys that had been paddling together the most, those combos ran better. So we were really struggling to find that day 1 combo. And this race is so like momentum dependent. And so many of the times I've been down there day 1, you just kind of get punched in the face because, you're trying to save for the last 2 days. So we were like, we knew more than anything we wanted to have a strong day 1. So we made the decision to load it a little more with some of the outrigger guys because they liked when I ran the boat, so then the guys responded better with me running it. So we made that decision. But then with lining up the combos in order to keep day 3 the same way we wanted, because that lineup for day 3 we had kind of set from the beginning. And so in order to do that, the cards just fell in place where like somebody's got to do all 3 days. And originally it was supposed to be Riley Kwanakoa, one of my good buddies from outrigger, hammer paddler. He sits 2-3 for us in the regattas. He was sitting up in 1. And we finished day 1 and sort of they just gave him the temperature check. He's like, you know what, I would rather save it for day 3. And then I was just, next in line because they knew I could do it. But yeah, it was awesome.
You said something interesting there about day 1, and when we were on the, well, not really on the call, but when we were watching you guys, I remember saying something about a lot of it seems that day 1 is more important than people realize. And I guess what I'm kind of gathering, just kind of following this race now for the last few years, is shoot, man, if you can weather the storm day 1, right? Like if you don't have the equipment failures, right? Your place, you're in contention. It seems you seem to put your team in a really good position going into day 3 if you have a really good day 1. That's
Well,
kind of what I'm gathering.
It's all based on cumulative time, right? And so just on a pure numbers alone, day 2, it's really hard to lose a lot of time. It's just so short and tight and competitive, and the boat wake doesn't allow people to get away the same in the natural surf like out in the channels, right? So it's even if you get smoked, you're like 3 minutes behind the leaders.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in 30th. So you can sort of, if you need to band-aid a leg, that's the one to do it. Everybody always though favors day 3, but what happens is, and this happened with us 2 of the 4 times I've done the race, where we get shocked coming out of the pass and we're in like 30th, 40th, something happens and either get taken out, break equipment, whatever, and it's just, you can lose so much ground in that first day because there's such little lagoon paddling and it's all surf. So when somebody gets away, they get away hard, And it's not like day 3 where everything's pretty straight behind you. It's more of like a Molokai surf. So when you're not surfing, you're getting pushed the wrong way. So the gap gets really, really spread really quickly. Luckily for us, coming from Hawaii, it's more similar waters probably for us than even a lot of those station teams. It's really unorganized, coming from a weird angle. So that's always, like, the years we've done well, we've done the best on that one for my personal. A couple years ago, we got 5th on that leg when it was really big. That was when I had Danny and Tupu. And
that was the Kalahui Kai days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I think just for Hawaii crews in general, the more surf, the better for us because, we like waves.
Yeah, and I like to compare Hawaiki Nui Va'a to like just the whole experience, right? Just from a spectator standpoint, is comparing it to watching the Tour de France, right? And it's French speaking, right? It's such a countrywide, spectacle, right? And day 2 strikes me as kind of that, in that cyclist, it's time trial day, right? It's kind of that day where, like, all right, like, I'm 8 minutes behind, all right, like, if I can, be 6 minutes faster than that one, rider slash paddler team, that I can make up that time, right? I.e. time trial. So that's kind of where I think of day 2 as kind of like that time trial day, if I'm kind of comparing the 2 events, even though it's apples and oranges, right? Totally different sports.
Yeah.
Well, your guys' day 2 is epic.
It was pretty wild. Just, we're going through the combos, whatnot. We were originally going to take 9 guys. Obviously, we have a really dominant steersman in Jimmy Austin, who is like, okay, well, he's definitely going to steer the 2 big days. But then we're looking down the list, we're like, who's going to steer day 2? And a lot of our, like, I could have steered it, or Miles could have steered it, or some of us. But it's like, well, then you take 2 of the more dominant paddlers out of the middle of the boat.
Out of paddling,
and finally, Jim and John Fody are the, like, organizers and coaches of the thing. And so he's like, let's just put Jim in. I mean, he's won everything under the sun. He's actually won a leg of this race back in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, let's try it. And it's one of those things where the crew was good enough to where he didn't have to paddle as much and he could just put the boat where it needed to be, and it works. So we're like, all right, let's just, like I said, I was like, if you need to band-aid a leg, that's the one to do it, because the day before we had beat so much of our competition. Like, we were close to the group in front of us, but we had a really big gap behind us. So we had some cushion there. So, like, we knew even if something happened catastrophic, like, we still had some good cushion. So it was, but Jim clicked into classic Jim Fody form and crushed it. But it was so funny on the line, like pulling up and they look down the crew and, it's all like, guys in their 20s looking all like studs. And then you go down and all of a sudden it was like, whoa, Jim Fody. Like he's famous down there.
Yeah.
How old is Jim? Do you know exactly how old he is?
I think he's 58 or 59, almost 60.
Okay, so he's not in his 60s yet. Okay.
I think he's almost. Because I think John's older, and I think John's like 61 or 62. I could be wrong, but just shy, but pretty much just about 60. And it was unreal. Like, I mean, just like from a super fan of the sport, like I am, like getting to now say I've done a race with Jim Fody is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
But then, like, it was funny, like, in the race, people are like, once the race started, everybody's, in competitor mode. And Moy Howe, who was the stroker for that day, he's from Tahiti. I think this was his 19th Hawaiki Nui or something. He now lives in Hawaii, paddles for Lani Kai. But
crazy.
Yeah,
he's a big brada, man.
Mm-hmm.
That guy.
6'5". He's gnarly.
He's 6'5". Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
And all torso.
Yeah.
All torso.
Could have been a swimmer. Yep.
Yeah, but I guess the whole time in French, the crew's around us because it's so tight. You're making like, you come out of the hole and then, there's immediate left turn and then you turn right around a pole into the pass between Raiatea and Taha'a. And then there's another, like there's just tons of turns within the first like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so like they're boxing each other out and everybody's trying to hold position and whatever. And all the other boats are yelling like, old man, left, old man. And, like yelling at him. and he is just, like just
doing his thing.
Totally tuned it out. Like obviously it's in French, so he has no idea. But
well, you answered a lot of my questions there because I was curious to know, why not why. I mean, obviously Jim's a legend and whatnot, but on a race, a young man's race like that, I was really surprised to see him in leg 2. Not that he can't do it. I want to be very clear that I'm not questioning that, but as a team, you guys made the decision to put him in that position. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, and because of the like format of Team Hawaii, we're not a club at all. It's a sort of group that gets brought together based off of OC1 results, and then there's a little bit of organizers' discretion of like guys like Riley Kawanakoa, who's like an absolute unit, but doesn't really race that much one man. Although he would be like a top 10 guy on the solo if he did. So there's a little bit of that, but we had a couple guys, that queued up leading up to it that could have steered that leg, but because of personal or family reasons couldn't make it to the race. Like Kai Chong or Travis. So then that's where it gets to the point of like, all right, now let's get creative and how do we fill this seat rather than like picking from the bench beforehand like we were trying to do. It's like, okay, well, that's just cards to play and rise to the occasion. But I mean, I didn't really care. I just I'd tell everybody like any chance to race in Tahiti, whether you're jumping in with one of them or you get to bring some boys from home or whatever, it's like the coolest thing ever. So I was just like, let's just go out there and swing. And sometimes when you have the most fun and best results, it's just why not?
Good for you, bro. That's an amazing attitude to have considering, some of the experiences we've all had racing. It's like, I think that at that level, there is a reason why you guys do so well is that, you guys do throw the expectations aside and you just go out and punch. And I think that's the whole overall attitude you guys did so well with,
It seems to be the recipe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, none of us, we all pay to do this. As you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
So you got to enjoy it. Get your money's worth, Don't treat it like you get paid. So
you kind of touched on like the conditions day 1 and the tactics involved, right? So kind of sticking to day 2 and kind of that time trial,
Yeah. So day 2 is like, I mean, the Tahitians literally call it a sprint. It's 2-hour sprint. And so much of that is like that first like 20, 30 minutes I was talking about where you're trying to get through to Taha'a, right? And you're just trying to make it through the zigzags, right? And not get boxed out or get a hole punched in your boat and stuff like that, right? So get out of the hole, make it clean. and then just hold position. And then once you come through the pass and you start coming around the side of Taha'a, that's when they have all that boat wake, right?
Kind
That
of opens up, right?
the magic of that day 2 leg.
Yeah, man. Jeez.
The hundreds of escort boats are lined up there. The wrinkle in this year's race, though, is there was a green buoy they dropped way inside that we had to turn around. Normally, when you come out of the pass, you can go straight, and then you get on the boat wake right away, and it's like you're out in it. Yeah. But they made us stick close to shore, so we were not surfing nearly as much.
Oh, so they kind of box you in with that green buoy. That was like a boundary?
Yeah, and there was
interesting.
Supposed to be several buoys along the leg that we had to stay inside of. Because normally, if you go and watch a couple years back, like you'll see guys like literally out in the boat wake, right? Like all the way out left close to the reef.
Mm-hmm.
Where, and there's usually official boats lined up that don't allow the boats to come in any further, but the canoes can go out to the official boats. Whereas this year we had to stay inside those buoys. So there was not as much surf, but I mean, there was still
that's interesting.
Like, a lot of paddles down riding. So it's
that's interesting. I remember chatting with Danny, right? Like, and he was like saying like teams will, day 2, they'll sit back, right, and wait for that point of the course where they can catch that boat wake, right, and make up.
And you can even see it in this year's videos. Like, if you watch what Shell and OPT were doing when they're racing each other versus like even as close as like us, like we could see them battling. Like we're stopped surfing and the guy in the front is paddling because everybody's watching them, right? So it's all the wake off of those boats. So and same for like the women and kids who go before. They don't have any wake. It's a Queen Liliuokalani race for them. But for us, for everyone but Shell and OPT, it's a gorge surf fest.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a lot of views. I mean, we got views of that, but in snippets. So we didn't see a lot of the setup. We didn't see a lot of the running, like connecting that you guys might have been doing. We saw Shell and OPT battling, and Shell walked down OPT. OPT came back and walked them down, and the amazing race there. But we didn't really get to see a lot of setup and see you guys in the back. I mean, not that far back, but behind that crew, that whole group of boats setting wake. We didn't get to see a lot of that.
So this is the first year I've actually ever done day 2. Normally, I'm on the boat watching from the escort, and it is one of the most insane, crazy, amazing spectacles. Like being on a boat with that many boat drivers around. I mean, this year actually almost seemed light in terms of the spectator boats.
Wow.
I remember last year there was, I want to say 1,000 boats watching the race. And they all, I don't know if you guys have seen the boats they have there, the potimararas. They're joysticks, right? And these guys are insane. Like we're driving at like 10, 12 knots and we're like inches from each other. And everybody's just like, what? Like all good, stoked, whatever. And they're just, just jockeying for position. And last year we stayed on a cat, big catamaran, and John Fody, he's a licensed captain. And so he was driving this 60-foot cat through all those boats with people going. It was insane.
Smokes,
I'll have to send, I think I have a video somewhere of it, but I'll have to send you guys it. It was crazy. But yeah, I was stoked to get to paddle it. This is my first time out of the 4 racing. So it's cool.
So we covered day 2, right? So walk us through your mindset, right? Okay, so you're committed, you're doing day 3, you just finished 2 stages. What's the recovery period like? What are you fueling with? What are you taking ice baths? What's the process?
Well, ice in Tahiti is worth more than gold. So no.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Man, I've done a lot of back-to-back racing, and the biggest thing was just keep drinking water and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Kind of just went into it pretty like it's gonna suck, but this is my favorite thing in the world, so it's not that bad.
You almost seem numb to it,
it's
right.
The coolest part about this race is like, how like, and I get this a little bit where they like say even like Koa Nui, but how nervous you are before like a race that happens. And I used to think like each day you'd wake up and it's like 3 days in a row, but it's almost like when the first horn goes off, the race isn't over till the end of day 3. So like you wake up the next day, you actually sleep amazing. I didn't miss me personally. Maybe I'm weird, but I slept amazing. Wake up the next day, like the nerves aren't there. I can eat sort of normal. And then you just go. It's like almost like waking up for a practice, and you just go and you do it at a crazy high intensity with people yelling in French, and then you go to sleep and do it again.
So you're relaxed, is what it sounds
Kinda.
like.
Yeah. Like the only part in the back of my head was just like how much it was gonna suck, and like how much I like torture myself, especially like knowing that I was gonna go and captain the boat. So
you're using your head all the time.
Yes,
not just paddling all the time. Yeah,
that was probably the hardest part for me, was knowing that like at no point can I just like check out and bang.
Yep.
You know, which like I can do in my sleep, but like the actual like having to think through and like knowing that, you know, I'm going to be in charge of the throttle for Jimmy steering, and the boys need me to make sure like the energy stays there and all that stuff. That was probably the hardest part going into day 3 mentally for me, knowing that like I had to do that 3 days in a row.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And most of your nutrition, are you guys flying with it? Like, are you bringing that from Hawaii, right? You're probably not getting that in Tahiti, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten better now. I remember like when I first went down there when I was like 15 or 16, it was like going to
Coke and chocolate.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, if you forget something, you're drinking Gatorade, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
But it has gotten better, and they have a lot of their own like nutrition companies now. But again, it's like, don't try something you've never used unless you need it. So yeah, we bring all of our own stuff. And I've like kind of, for the most part, simplified what I take. I used to kind of take a bunch of crazy stuff, but
it's like a less is more now
approach. Yeah, just find what works and just take a bunch of that. So I drink a lot of Element.
Yeah, me too. That's the jam.
Yeah, the ketones, swear by those.
The ketone IQ?
Yeah.
Taking shots of those guys?
Yeah, I think I took like 4 or 5 during day 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, just
annoying your teammates with the bottles in
the before the race.
Annoying your teammates with those little bottles bouncing around in the canoe.
Yeah. I would pile them up, and then I'd wait till they'd come do like a water drop or something, and then I'd throw like 6 of them.
It's like you know, and like you're teaching your the toddlers how to swim, and it's like the rings, grab all the rings in the pool. It's like your support guys
they didn't used to have this, or at least I don't remember it, but there used to not be a rule against like littering.
Right.
So I remember doing this race and just seeing like hundreds of water bottles floating around, but now they actually give you a penalty if you get caught littering.
Wow.
So either you can throw it
to
your boat, or you leave it in the canoe. So I would just like keep it until we did a drop and then pass it to those guys. But I mean, I think that's great. Like,
so do I.
The most beautiful place on the planet. We shouldn't be throwing a bunch of trash. But
I remember the channel this year, Molokai Hoi, Kamaka, like he was hosting the live stream, and I don't know if it was OPT or some team. You see some brada just like chuck a bottle like it was a grenade, you know. He's just like he start battling, and then Kamaka had to like just throw a disclaimer like, just so you guys know, like
someone's there to pick it up. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
you know.
I think most people do that, and most people are like assume that, but you never know. Somebody's gonna clip that and.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good look, right? When you see some like just paddlers just throwing it in the water,
liter and a half bottle go flying into the air.
Yeah. Bro, even the small coolers, you just see them hucking the cooler, whatever they got, they're going.
So
you know, they're throwing
that's how we would do it, because they have these like PVC tubes that are mounted to the inside of the boat, and you put your water pack in there, and you got your crazy hose tied to you and whatnot. And when it was time for a water drop, we actually did it 50-50. Some of the guys had a spare pack on the boat, and so they would just bring them a new one, give the old one out, put it away. I didn't have enough like tubing for that, because you have to make like the Camelback tube's only like 3 feet long, maybe.
Yeah, it's short. Yeah,
and, like you need like 5 feet to get.
Yeah, you got to get the extension.
You have to, or you go and we get from Home Depot. They just have like clear, like surgical tubing.
Yeah, okay.
And you have to cut it and glue everything in and whatnot. So that's like the days before the race you're doing that. But so what I just did was when I was done, I threw it to them and had a bottle on the boat that they refill it and then they bring it back. So you're without water for 8 minutes or whatever, and just don't. You're fine.
And are you guys bringing someone that is kind of dedicated to that role of like, I'm just gonna help with I'm like equipment manager. Do you guys have someone for that?
That's kind of what Jim and John played throughout the race.
Oh,
and then we had this guy Wailani, who paddles for Lani Kai, who he's also a pilot, so he was able to get down there, and he came
Okay.
and was on our boat supporting us as well. And then for day 3, the guys who are already done paddling, they're like want to be a part of the race, so they jump in and help a bunch. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that helps.
The
Which
divers.
I would do the
Yeah.
same. Yeah. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want to help. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
That's cool.
So going into day 3, obviously the 2 stages are done. Day 3, you guys are in really good contention. And what is the game plan? Did you guys have any idea what the surf looked like once you got out of the pass and into the channel, or?
No, just from experience and some of the reports that we don't know if we trust or not. The rumor on the street was it was going to be bombing. So that was our game plan, was just hang on for your dear life getting out of the pass. And it's like 45 minutes, almost an hour.
Yeah,
flat water at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's half of day 2 almost.
Yep.
You know,
with wind in your face almost, or a breeze in your face
it's
at
not
least.
too bad, and you tuck in tight. So that was our game plan, was get out and then try and have a clean spot to the surf, and then let Jimmy do his thing in the surf and just try and surf our brains out as best as we can. I think it was not as strong of surf as we had expected. Like, we were expecting it to be even bigger and stronger than day 1, and day 1 was kind of bombing. So I think we got a little excited, and then we're let down slightly because, when it says 18 to 20 in Hawaii, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit mellower than I think we were expecting. So that kind of took a little bit of wind out of our sails. And it got better throughout the day. But, we ended up – we had a really, really good start. We kind of lined up right around, like, Enviropole.
Yeah, you guys were right in the sticks.
You guys are right in the mix.
Yeah, and we tucked right in on the Bora Bora guys, Popora, and right on their wake, and just literally just sat on their tail the whole way. So we were in the mix with OPT and PDA and the EDT all the way out, and then just started surfing. It was awesome.
Yeah. Could you tell that the shells of the world, they were kind of, they're playing them and OPT, right? They're playing with house money at that point, right? And I noticed they were running. I mean, you guys are all like pretty much in the top 12 or 14. There was a big pack of you guys.
Yeah.
And then Air Tahiti, right? It was Air Tahiti and somebody else that
Air Tahiti had to make up all the money, right? So they sent it off the start, which I could have probably predicted that. And then it was Enviropole that went with them.
Yeah. That's right.
I remember seeing that because they were behind us for points.
Yes.
Going into the race.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, they're trying to make a push for it. And we were actually tied for time with P-Day for 8th going into the race. So that was sort of my target for the day, was, okay, let's keep an eye on these guys. Like, if we can beat them, we can get 8th. And there was like Huahine was kind of in there, but I figured they had like kind of rough day 1 and 2. So I figured they'd be up there. But
that's kind of what they did. That's what they did last year too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I mean, all of the guys in that crew are beasts. So, can't ever count them out. So I was just like, if we can kind of keep an eye on this pack, we can at least maintain. And that was sort of the goal, is, maintain, because we've never had a day where we actually consistently paddled all 3 days. Usually you get one where you get punched in the face and you're playing catch up. So that was sort of like, just don't mess it up. And then it was crazy. It was like we were drafting like a one man, and I don't know whether it's these canoes or something with the lagoon or whatnot, but like and maybe just the quantity of boats too in that pack. Like, I feel like we never actually get to draft like that in our 6-man.
Yeah. It just kind of feels like a surge. Everyone's just kind of moving. It's like paddling in Newport Harbor, where there's a bunch of like a draft.
Literally like a full like wake. Like you could like wind off and like it was wild. But
you could see it actually on the footage, and perfect example is Shell, right? They're just like just yawning while they're just at
I remember I didn't see them, and I'd kind of forgotten about them, and we were like probably a half hour into the race. And then I saw them, like, there was a little like mini spin out kind of halfway through the lagoon section where I think somebody came up and like spun EDT out, and they almost came into us and we came around them, whatever. So that's kind of what split the pack at first in that little bit.
I remember that.
When I first saw Shell for the first time, like kind of come up on our inside left, and I was like, "Oh, what are you guys doing back here?"
Yeah.
You know. But then they sort of just like kind of marched. But that was their game plan going into it, I think. Like,
Yeah, they saved for the channel and the final lagoon run for sure.
not even that. Like they wanted no one to know where they were. You know, so they. I mean, as you
'Cause
guys
they're
saw,
gonna
like we all
backdoor it the
come
whole
out of the
time.
pass, right, and they were like right with us. We could
Yeah.
see them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you see them like hang back and then take a hard left turn like into the escort boats, right?
Yep.
And it was like
Beelined it, right? It was like
beeline, like 45
like their
degrees
nose is facing the camera, like
Oh,
heading.
they took it on the face early right there. Yeah.
full left into the, and then disappeared in the boat wake, so you couldn't see
Mhm.
them. Like, because there's a row of those
And-
couple hundred boats, right? So they're on the other side, so no one can see them.
Right.
And just
Are they in the
keep working
glare
left.
too of the morning sun too? I mean,
Maybe a little
I'm trying-
bit, but
Yeah. Okay.
what really made it kind of crazy was, so a lot of those top teams, but including Shell, will bring multiple escort boats with them, right? And they have all the flags on it, right? So Shell has maybe 4 boats that follow them. Is when the one pack went north and the other pack went south, they sent 2 of their escort boats north
Wow.
with that pack.
Oh,
And because I
decoys.
remember when we started surfing, we started passing boats. I remember at one point, Jim and John come up next to us and they're like, "Hey, okay, Shell's back to your back right, you know, and then OPT and Air Tahiti are just off to your front right, like you're gaining on the pack, right?" This is probably when we moved up to maybe like 5th at one point. I think we were that far up. And then a little bit goes by and they're like, "Guys, you're doing good, blah, blah, blah." And then all of a sudden they're like, they give us the rundown. They're like, "Okay, so Air Tahiti, OPT are over here to the right and Shell's up to your front left." I was like, how did they go from back right
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
front left in 30 minutes? You know, and that's when, you know, we realized they'd split it, and then the other escort boats came back, but it was a full bait and switch, like the most like tactical thing I'd ever seen.
Okie doke, right? Like a okie doke escort boat kind of.
Yeah, because what they wanted was, when there's like, for them to get lost in the sea of boats, you couldn't see them, but for if they ever look back, they just see the one Shell boat still right there, to where it's like at first glance, you know, they're like, "Hey, they're right there, keep going." So I was pretty wild.
Yeah, when we were watching it firsthand, right? It was like, whoa, like, you know, like this is a bold move, Cotton. You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this is pretty. You know, like they are. This is
No, but it was
Even-
like,
Even Danny said they're too far out. They're too far wherever, you know,
nah,
and that was early on.
The one thing you don't like see on the footage, because I've watched some of it back, and what you don't see on like the graphics is the angle of surf. Like everything was coming pretty hard left to right. So surfing right was so much easier. And if you could do that at the end of 7 hours
at the
paddling,
end of it, yes,
right? So it's
way
so
easier
much
in your
easier.
money.
And so make that money, and some of that boat wake shot them left, right? So they didn't have to work that hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so do that, and it's a shorter distance to that, like, because they like, I think it's like 2 kilometers more OPT's line than like even the line we took, right? So it was shorter and easier, and I think probably faster surf. So like all of those combined, and then a more experienced Shell crew, like, gone.
And Ryland, is all the, I mean, the impression that we got was all the escort boats, they arrive from the south, right? From the left.
Yeah, so they're so you kind of come out of the pass like this. You come out, and then Bora's this way, right? So it's a full U-turn. So the boats are all lined up outside the pass to your left. So they come out, and then they're there, right? So when you come out, everybody does this and starts surfing hard right to just try and get some speed, recover after the hour of paddling. Whereas they took a right or a left into the boat wake, and then rode the boat wake out the other side, disappeared, and then.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. We were saying that like they ate the shit sandwich early on, right?
But it was like, and we had an easier time surfing left in the beginning than at the end, you know? So I think it was not even as hard of surfing then as then when everybody else had to do it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what we were kind of saying. It was like they're gonna you'll take it homicide towards the end of the end of the course, right? And you're fatigued to your point.
Yeah. And you're getting out into the deeper water, right? So there's just more energy allowing you to rest more. Whereas like when you're trying to do it at the end, you're in the shallow water. And so it's just like sticky and pushing the boat around. And so it's just, you know.
That's exactly what Uncle Walter touched on. Was he was talking about that shelf, right? And there's that angle, and he's like they're getting to the deeper water. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Kevin were like trading
Yeah.
conversations about that. Yeah.
And there was like a perfect drone shot, right? That gave you the bird's eye view of
Hmm.
that shelf. And you're
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, they're like,
Makes
I mean,
sense.
it's
Yeah.
like perfect illustration.
the Diamond Head effect, if you're out at Diamond Head Buoy, everything's still kind of going out towards Barbers, but if you kind of come halfway in, everything starts to fade in right towards the island, and it's just, anything where there's like land, the wave just starts to bend to it.
Hmm.
So if you don't have to fight that bend at the end, and you can just enjoy it,
Yeah.
and then Rete Ebb is
I know.
a freak, like
Yeah, man, that was
best steersman. He's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we were commenting about that, and that's kind of like talking about Jim Fody too. In a way, it was about how David Topava took himself out of the boat, right? And so, like I said, you answered my questions early on, but I think David made the right decision there. And I mean, at some point in time, you got to put your ego aside. You got to let the better person do the job, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to ever count David out. I mean, he's
Right.
No matter his age, like, and same with Jim, But I think the better the surf, the more it favors David.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're also dealing with somebody like Rete, who's in his prime, who's won the race so many
Countless
times as
times,
well,
yeah.
and he's. I think an informed Rete is a very, very hard person to beat.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got that guy, why not play him?
So
Seems
Ryland,
less risky.
you guys come into the lagoon at the end there, and you're beat up, and you guys did decent because you probably came into the pass knowing where you guys were at. I imagine your boat's telling you where you're at. What was going through your mind at the end there, coming into Bora Bora and crossing that finish line?
It's hard to even remember. It's like
Yeah.
it's just like extremely emotional. But for me, it's almost like it gets easier again. Like now it's just the tough part, which I've grown up eating rocks, like that's the part I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I'll make it. You're going to get there. We're feeling good. Nobody's really behind us. So it's just, let's just get this thing done. And yeah, it's the most deceptively long paddle of your life, because you saw the finish line almost 2 hours ago from the outside.
Right.
Pass it, come around.
Right. Come around. Yeah.
And then now that we don't even cut the island, we go around the Motu, and then there it's like even more flat, sticky water. But it's like you're in Bora Bora. The water's like an unreal color. You got like your best friends in the canoe with you, and you slowly make your way around the Motu, and then you see the finish line, and it's okay. It's still probably like a mile and a half away, but that's all right. It's one, senior men's regatta race left, and everybody keeps chipping away at it. And then once you get across that last channel to like now you're at Matita Beach. You see the people, you can hear the drums. It's just like surreal. And the water just keeps getting shallower and stickier.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden people are splashing. And you're like, okay, that's cool. And, you just hear like, Hawaii, people going nuts. And then you finish and they hand you a hot Sprite. And
right.
It's super awesome. And it's like, I think the coolest like finish to any sporting event ever. There's nothing like that. So yeah, it's a surreal feeling. And for all of us, it's the end of the season finally. So all of the emotions from all year kind of collapse on you. And yeah, you're done and you get to enjoy it. And you're in Bora Bora and seeing all your friends. And yeah, it's just unreal. And there's a good like contingency from Hawaii this year. There's all the juniors and a couple women's crews and a couple men's crews, and there was a huge like even just watch crew that came down with a bunch of our friends. And so just like, because I remember the first few times we came down there was like you didn't know anybody. There's a bunch, it's like all your friends are still in the escort boat or in the canoe with you, like drooling on themselves. But this time it was finished, and there was like 20 people I knew. I was like, "Oh,
yeah, okay."
And we spent more time down there, and so now all the Tahitians come up and say hi to you, and so that's cool too. And
well, that leads me into a question, and we've been going 40 minutes here, so we're gonna ice this cake real quick. But I want to ask you the question: how can we see the best Hawaii team next year for Hawaiki Nui? there are teams that, Wailea has some ringers with them. And how do we organize the best team from Hawaii to represent down there in Hawaiki Nui for 2026?
Well, real quick, Ryland, before you answer that question, sorry to interrupt. Do you guys think that you guys had an amazing finish, but do you think that it could have been better?
It always
I guess as a follow-up question to that.
It always can be better, I mean, you don't line up to lose. So
Right.
yeah, but this race is so foreign to us in anything we do. It's right up my alley of stuff I like to do. But in terms of what we get to actually practice and execute on all the time, you go from one day of changes and you jump in, you do 3 day of non-changes in different boats. So if we want to get, if we really want to put on a spectacle down there, either we change our races or we train to race that way. That being said, I mean, we're inching towards it, and I'm a firm believer that it's just going to take time. We've got a new crop of people going down and trying it. The guys who were trying it 10, 15 years ago are teaching us all how they did it, and this is the first like young guy crew we've seen in a long time. With like, I mean, we had Jimmy's in his 40s, but even with Jimmy, our average age on that day 3 crew was 27. So it's just we've got a long time of doing this. And that's Jimmy's amazing, and he crushed it, and is his seat is going to be hard for some young buck to come take. But I think the formula is there. We're just still baking the cake. And in the next 5 years, hopefully we see somebody do it, and I can be the old guy, and I'll maybe steer them and let them pull me around, but. Yeah, like I'm very patient, and you see like our guys on the individual side, we're slowly keeping up with those guys more and more, and every once in a while one of us will beat a few of them or one of them or keep up with them for most of the race or stuff like that, right? So now if we just get more of us keeping up with them, put us in a boat together, and maybe it'll happen, or we'll get punched in the face again and we'll try again next year.
So I remember Jim Fody was talking about like formulating that team Hawaii going into Hawaiki Nui, and he was touching on Hawaii's top OC1 paddlers, and that's kind of what he led with. But in I guess from your perspective, what is the you just touched on the baking the cake, like what is the ingredients, like how does that team form?
Well,
like, you guys, it sounds like you had like 4 or 5 guys that are like core guys that have done this now. You've done it like, a few times Hawaiki Nui with, but what else is, I guess, what else is part of that formula that goes into this team?
Well, we can't emulate what they do in Tahiti, right? We don't have those same cards. They have turned it into a professional sport where they can paddle for their employer, and they have like crazy support, whether it's community based, financially based, whatever, but their work environment is conducive to paddling, right?
Yeah.
And we cannot copy that. We can aspire to. So we have to find a different way to do it, and I think we're figuring that out. What I can say is what worked for us this year was the fact that we had more continuity between the groups, I think. So like having a more Lani Kai heavy day and having a more outrigger heavy day, and sprinkling the people that were really flexible into those seats helped, right? So like, because at the end of the day, you're going to bleed harder for somebody you bleed with every day than somebody you don't, right? And so that's where I'm a little bit hesitant on just the one-man guys. But one man's a good benchmark for that guy's a savage. This guy trains all the time.
Right.
So that's where you can start to pick those pieces apart. But I think at the end of the day, if we go down and we say we want to take 12 guys, and you take, the 2 best clubs and their best 6 up from each, and then maybe there's some swap over, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, that's gonna be what works one day. Or we keep trying this and we just get more flexible. But I'm a firm believer in like what we're doing at Outrigger. We've got a ton of young, hungry guys that are like, we have probably like 15 guys all training 2-3 times a day, all under 30,
Yeah.
So, and what they're doing at Lanikai, it's no joke. And so I think between those two programs on Oahu, there's going to be some stuff there. And then you always look at Wailea. They're pushing the level of the sport. They've been the guys to beat for the last several years, and same with Keaukaha on the Big Island. So I think just the level's slowly growing. There's just you can't trade competition like they have in Tahiti. So I think us going down in their waters more will help. But yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic about where we're at.
That's great. That's
I
great
am
to hear.
too, very much. Like I can't say how proud I was to watch you guys perform like you guys did. I mean, even Wailea going down there, they had a good stage and they got beat up a little bit here and there. But watching you guys paddle, I was like, man, it was so nice to see a Hawaii team there. It was great.
Yeah. I think everybody bought into the idea and the whole thing, and paddling for something bigger than yourself. It's the only way you're gonna ever actually bleed that hard. If you're just doing it for yourself, you're gonna get left pretty quick. No, I mean, I was super grateful, and I had such an amazing experience. And like I said, we don't line up to lose, but it also sucks to not go down there and suck. I've done that so many times where you go down there and you just are so defeated when you come home. But that's what makes us train too. So
sure, yeah. Well, I have a plethora of questions about you and Outrigger and what we've been seeing from you guys the last year or last couple of years, but I could go another 2 hours with that. And I feel like I want to continue this into another check-in at some level or another, talk to you about what you're doing at Outrigger, the success and I mean, even Uncle Walter, like we were talking, I've talked to him off camera and through text messages multiple times leading up to last weekend. And a guy like him to be as excited as he is about where Outrigger's at right now is pretty cool considering the history he has with the club. So, I mean, just a quick congratulations to that. I don't want to get into the weeds with that yet. I got a lot more to talk about with you, and I know Joe does too. But Joe, you got anything else for Hawaiki Nui or what?
I mean, shoot, we're just stoked for you guys. I mean, that was that was a major statement, and that optimism that you're touching on. We share that, especially as fans of the sport, and it's just so good to see. Just kind of get that backstory on Hawaii paddling and how it's going and how you're building this program. I mean, shoot, sounds like you're building two programs right now, which is not easy to do. And so we're just really happy for you. I mean, here we are in California. I know you got roots here, so we're always gonna root for you. But man,
you paddle for Lanakila, so it's way more fun to do it with a bunch of people than do it by yourself. So that's sort of taking that
for sure
mentality and trying to crank the dial on it a little more and see what we can get out of massive amounts of people. And I think through that we'll find a lot more diamonds.
Guarantee.
Yeah.
Right on.
But
yeah.
Well, we're coming back for Thanksgiving, so maybe we'll have to get together at some point.
Oh, that would be good.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Sit my dad down too, and
I would love to talk to Tony, get his take on the whole deal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something where that's where we continue the Outrigger conversation, but also tie that into the Lanakila roots, right? Because as someone who's been paddling with Lanakila for a good while now, I see what you're putting down, Ryland Hart. And it makes total sense.
Yeah,
and,
well, my whole life I've just been trying to keep up with my family, so
yeah,
pretty cool. And my sister's now stepping into helping coach too, and that's just I guess it's just in our blood. This is what we do.
We a lot of times Joe and I will just kind of we'll kind of loft passes to each other about legacy and what it looks like, and Joe and I even have these conversations about the broadcast brought us and what's this going to mean in 10 years and all this other stuff. And I have to say, similar to what I was saying with Kala when we were talking to Kala about your next phases in life. Granted, you're a racer now, but Kala's kind of like he's at a position now where he is a very mature young guy and could take on the legacy of being a coach, right? And watching you take that step, for me especially, because I was never the fastest paddler in the world, but I took pride in coaching clubs, and I had a lot of fun doing it and keeping people motivated, and training them or making them better, at some level or another. There is something to that is very, very soft with me, so I do have a lot to talk to you about with that, and I'm very, very proud of what you're doing, and especially hearing it from the outrigger brass, so to speak, because
Yeah.
that's a really high bar and a really, really tough group to appease. And you're a couple years into this thing, and Brad, I got to tell you, from what I hear from the guys around town there, the old guys, they're really stoked on what's going on. So congratulations on that, and very proud of you. Very proud of Team Hawaii and your guys' performance in the Hawaiki Nui. And for now, that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you guys so much. It just means a lot. I love what you guys do, and I love you guys, and it's just stoked to see like a group from back home doing this kind of thing. This is what we need, and I'm honored you guys asked me to even talk. So it was awesome.
Oh, there'll be more. I mean, like I said, this has been a long time coming, and this will be the first time we've done this without any problems. So it worked out pretty good, bro. Yeah, solid.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
I know,
Yeah, we
I know.
still got to make sure nobody's thumbs are in the way the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, we have no
Yeah.
idea. I
Yeah,
think this
that's
is
true.
still recording.
Oh, did I record? Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, we're good. Right on.
Yeah.
All right, Ryland. Well, Joel, you got anything else you want to add, or are we good, bro?
No. Thanks for your time, Ryland. Congrats again,
easy.
and looking forward to your next big endeavors in 2026.
And we got a lot more to talk about, brother. Like Thanksgiving
That's right. Yeah.
sounds good. So let's
Hopefully
figure
we
that
see you
out.
soon for Thanksgiving. So that'd be
Easy.
even better.
Yep. All right, we're the Broadcast Brothers. I'm Justin Faisong. It's Donald Holova, and thank you, Ryland Hart, for joining us today. Proud to know you, proud of you, and you keep doing the hard work, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, aloha.